So they say it was actually made of gold. And not metaphorically, but actually literally. A city in the sky. One that actually towered among the clouds. And it was built by beings with names actually older than language itself, and destroyed by a hero whose story you've only half heard. Now this isn't science fiction at all. It's the Mahabharata. Yeah, the epic people think is just about chariots and cousins fighting, but actually hidden inside of it, there's actually a battle in the sky between humans and what it calls Asuras. So let's rewind and find out what they didn't actually want you to remember. Oh, and if you think this is just some ridiculous poem from thousands of years ago, well, that's fine. So don't ask why NASA satellites found, a floating grid of magnetic anomalies over the Indian Ocean last year. I'm kidding. Mostly. So according to the Mahabharata, there actually was once a city floating in the sky, and they called it the Golden City. So this city wasn't sitting on a mountaintop, and it wasn't even a metaphor for heaven. It was moving, gliding through the sky like a flying fortress, built by beings not from this realm, but not quite gods either. They're called the Asuras, the beings of, let's call it fire and shadow, the ones exiled from heaven who didn't leave, they just went up. The texts say they built this city with the help of an architect named Maya, not to be confused with the illusion of the world, which is also known as Maya, though this is not an accident. And that's right, the architect of the flying city was literally named Illusion. Tell me the rishis didn't have, some kind of sense of humor there? So here's where it gets really, really weird and crazy. The Asuras used the city to actually stay above karma. Literally above it. Out of reach of the Earth's gravity, and of course all of the Earth's laws. So they couldn't be touched by humans, and they couldn't be touched by the Devas, which are the good gods. Not even Vishnu could interfere. Well, unless they became arrogant, and unless they violated Dharma directly. And of course they did. So what actually happened? Well, the gods actually called Arjuna. Yeah, Arjuna, the bowman, the warrior, the star of the Bhagavad Gita. But this isn't the Arjuna we met on the battlefield. He's not crying about morality this time. This is like a post-enlightened Arjuna, eyes open, mind sharp, and he's guided by Krishna. And he's armed with an aerial chariot and divine weapons made of thought, vibration, and of course mantra. So yeah, you heard it right. In this part of the Mahabharata, Arjuna becomes an anti-aircraft weapon for real. So he rises into the sky literally and engages in this cosmic dogfight with a city made of absolute gold, piloted by Asuras and shielded by pure illusion. So it's not a stretch at all. I mean, the texts say that he was given the divine chariot by the gods themselves, empowered by will, equipped with an astra, which is a celestial weapon that's activated by mantra and visualization. It sounds a lot like directed energy weapons to me, or maybe consciousness weapons. The stuff DARPA is not researching. So Arjuna ends up destroying the city, and it's not with missiles, and it's not with brute force, but actually with clarity of mind and a huge astra weapon, a weapon of the higher worlds. And get this, and when it strikes, the city collapses midair, and the illusion actually ends. The golden facade falls away, and all that's left is law, Dharma. Okay, so here's kind of like the big twist on this. The Golden City was never just a flying fortress. It was a symbol of how the ego tries to escape cause and effect all the time, of how the mind builds a fortress in the sky to avoid the truth on the ground, per se. So, I mean, the Asuras weren't just external beings. They were the architects of distraction, the engineers of escape. So you don't have to believe in floating cities, but look around. Every time we create a false world to live in, a virtual city, a curated self, a fantasy we refuse to let go of, we rebuild the Golden City. Yeah, and sooner or later, your inner Arjuna is going to have to shoot it down. You can't reach moksha when you're hiding in the sky. No. Have a good one, guys. Namaste.